I have completed my move to New Hampshire, sort of. Hello, this is Carrie O'Donnell from Tarot Soul Writer, and I have completed my move to New Hampshire, sort of. I'm still work in progress. It's been, I closed on my new home on Halloween on October 31st, and I think shortly after that I said, okay, everybody, I have to move. And I have done nothing but pack and unpack in the month of November. We got into the home on the 13th of November, and then the next week was Thanksgiving. My kitchen was nowhere near able to cook a dinner. My son, who's still finishing his last semester of college, he had nowhere to go. So obviously I wanted to make a nice day for him. So we did the best that we could, trying to get as much of the house ready. I literally had boxes piled everywhere, and a new living room set was delivered the day he came home. So it was one of those things that my husband went to get him, and I just stayed so that furniture could come in and we could have somewhere to sit. It was a week, and we ended up going out to dinner, and I don't know, I kind of liked it, not cooking. It was a lovely day. And I may make this a tradition because with just a few people and not having to cook for a huge family, it just was nice and relaxing. So that was wonderful. We took a little break and I spent some time with my son. And when he left for school, it was full throttle once again. We are still unpacking, although I feel like we're finally getting there. Simultaneously, I'm decorating for Christmas because my son and my daughter are coming up for a few days during Christmas, which I'm really excited about. I will say that I love my new environment. I am out there. And as far as this business and what I do, the private readings, the videos, my documentary I'm working on, it all depends on internet, and I am in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to tell you something. I had to get Starlink, Elon Musk's Starlink. It was the only option we had to get speeds enough that I could actually stream and do my work. And I'm going to say that I'm not necessarily the biggest Elon Musk fan concerning his politics and his speech and, his overall attitude. But I have to say that man is a genius when it comes to the satellites. He is the only one who could guarantee speeds and is delivering on speeds that are quite usable out here. When I say I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Nobody else gets service. So I got that up and running, but I'm still developing the network within the home. So I found out that my office is in a little bit of a dead zone. One of my projects this weekend was I bought a very powerful router. And so I'm going to get that set up, and that should hopefully make sure that I can stream on multiple devices. And fingers crossed, I should be able to work as normal, but we are still in a work in progress because there's just been so much to do. But I knew I had to get on, and I really wanted to jump on for some 2024 readings. I feel like that's something I need to be doing. And so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to tape. I might have to edit a little bit because of technical difficulties. You may hear it a little bit, but I'm in a very large space and I haven't perfected my sound yet. There's a little bit of an echo. So I got to figure that out. My lighting isn't perfect either. I'm still seeing a little glare in my glasses, but it's a lot better than it was. So I'm going to be working on that. And as you can see in the background here, I have a few decorations up, but it's not exactly the way I want it as far as my background. So that's a work in progress. But you're going to get the information, and we're going to get that out to you before the holidays. Concerning private readings, you may certainly sign up for private readings. I'm definitely up and running enough to do that. I have not practiced a Zoom meeting yet. Hopefully, especially after I get that new router up this weekend, I'll be able to do readings no problem on Zoom. I know that's how most people prefer, so that we have that one-on-one connection. If you would like to have a reading before I perfect that this month, absolutely sign up and just know that you are a Zoom guinea pig. You may be one of my first customers in this new environment. And if something goes wrong with our connection, just be open to a phone reading. So I will send you a link and I will also collect your phone number. And that way, if anything goes wrong, I can call you immediately and we can finish the reading over the phone. I know it's not ideal, and I'm just preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, because it could work. I mean, I still have some pretty good service. I did notice at certain times of day, we're not getting as many, I guess you could say, bars in this particular room as I am in other areas of my home. So I do have to work on that. I'm still looking for interviews for my 2020 project. I know that this month is mostly about the holidays, probably for all of us. And for me, it's trying to get my house in a way that I can be in a routine and everything's unpacked. That's my goal. In January, however, I'm going full throttle. Interviews, editing. I would love to get this documentary up by March 17th. That's sort of my internal goal, because that was the day of the shutdown. It would be an anniversary day, and I would love to premiere the documentary at that particular time. I want to thank the readers so far who have interviewed with me. We have Kim from Intuit View. We have Sheila from Celtic Sheila. We have Priscilla from the Crone Zone and Heather from the Crone Zone. We have Denise Siegel and Allie from Heart Soul Connection. So I want to thank them very much for sitting with me and talking about their 2020 story. And you don't have to be a reader to want to tell your 2020 story, whether that's through writing, poetry, artwork you've done. If you just have a few things to say, please contact me. My email address is below. You can send me an email and tell me what you're willing to share, and I would be happy to hear from you. So without much ado, let's start our 2024 readings. I am going to start with January, the month of January, and I have decided that I am going to get a general statement from my guides through writing and the cards for what's coming up for us in January, spiritually, what we all have to look forward to collectively. And then I'm going to do a separate bunch of cards for Donald Trump and what's coming up specifically for him, because I feel like this is a huge year politically. The fact that he's under indictment and then we have an election coming up in 2024, and I want to specifically hone in on him. So let's look at January. The first message that I had gotten for January, and I feel like I was going to do this as here's my written channeling of what's coming up for January based on the cards that I pulled, and then I was going to do cards for Trump. But as it turned out, I was getting a number of things simultaneously, some about Trump in my general reading. So I'm going to start with my first two messages. Then I'm going to go through the cards that I pull for Trump and sort of what I'm getting intuitively off of that. And then I'm going to give you the final message that I think was channeled through my guides. It's funny because I do feel Archangel Metatron. I've been connected to him a lot lately, and I feel like he's part of this final message. So let me just start from the beginning. January begins with the reminder that love is all there is, and our personal relationship should be our focus. This is a time of coming together. There is going to be a lot of anxiety this month. Trump is going to feel really defeated, and his fear is going to spread to everybody. And I feel like right around there, I want to show you some of Trump's cards. The first card that I pull for him is the Devil. Obsession, anxiety, soul ties, dependency, addiction. I mean, he's in the grip, and he is not going to be at his best. He's going to be at his worst in January. And why? We have the Five of Wands here. Aggression, conflict, tension, rivals, curse, ego. It's as if when he's in fear, and I originally pulled the Nine of Swords that we're all going to feel, this anxiety. He's feeling that anxiety too. It's like what he feels, he throws out at us. And it's like we're picking it up. And it's through his actions, because when he's in fear, he's going to throw stuff out there. So we're going to hear a lot of stuff in January from Donald Trump. And it's going to be aggressive, and it's going to be violent, and it's going to go specifically to his enemies, whoever he thinks is his enemy at the moment. All right. And this is going to create a lot of fear in people. But what's really going on with Donald Trump is the Five of Cups. And notice the fives, 5-5, change, big time change here with that number. And it's showing up. It's showing up twice. But the Five of Cups is more his emotional state. Loss, grief, sadness, mourning, feeling let down, feeling failure. He feels like a failure. And he's never really felt that before. And I think in January, he's going to feel the depths of that failure. You know, I'm no good. I'm not worthy. That's really what he's feeling. And he's so scared. But we will see it as the Five of Wands, that aggression, because that's how he deals with it. And then here I have the Knight of Swords. Someone who's assertive, a younger man who is directly going after him. And I do feel like this is probably Jack. This is the U.S. government here. He's coming after him. And we're going to see that kind of action in January. It is a knight. It isn't a woman. So I feel like this is Jack Smith. Okay, we're going to see some kind of aggressive action toward him. And that card is also a card of war. It's a card of just going at it spontaneously. That's also some Donald Trump energy, because that's what we're going to hear from him. Just word vomit, right? But it's going to be scary because he's going to a darker, more fearful place. Here's the interesting thing. With my cards around Donald Trump, I have the Dream. You know, he's going to be stuck in fantasy. He's going to be looking and feeling like everybody has everything but me, poor me, playing the victim. But I feel like there's a little bit of fantasy here. You know, he has a certain dream of how this is all going to turn out for him, like a fairy tale. Because it is going to be a fairy tale, because it's not reality. He's not dealing with reality. We're really going to see that in January. I did pull the root chakra for him, so he's in survival mode. Everything is fight or flight right now. Anything could happen. He could do anything. He could say anything, because he's coming from a sense of feeling unsafe. Okay, survival mode. And then I have some interesting cards. I'm just going to start with the first two. I'm going to save the other one for last. But I pulled the Arrow card reversed and Archangel Raphael. There is a theme of healing here that is coming across when I read the next section. And what this card said to me is, and I know it's hard to think of Donald Trump this way, but as a soul, in January, he's given the opportunity. He is being given an opportunity to heal. And I wrote, January is an opportunity for Trump to heal the parts of him that feel unworthy, that feel he isn't good enough through his suffering. And so this is an opportunity for him. Is he going to take that opportunity? I'm going to probably say no, because I'm getting a lot of aggression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. But he has free will. It is an opportunity. And of course, guides and angels are only dealing with love. And this is just a sense of a reminder, and this is just a reminder from them that he is a soul and he is on a learning path and he is being given an opportunity here to grow and to be stronger from this. And I did get the golden ratio, this idea of patterns. And patterns are going to show up in my next message here. But there are patterns with Trump's soul. This has happened before. It's coming up again. Are you going to deal with it? Okay, January is a dark night of the soul moment for Donald Trump. So the evidence is going to come through clear. He doesn't want to deal with that reality. He's going to be stuck in fantasy. But it is an opportunity to break a pattern that has been with him for a very long time, maybe many lifetimes. Then I picked up, there is news about dark money and financial transactions in the month of January that's going to be the catalyst for this negative, for this extreme behavior that we're going to see from him. People are coming together to reveal old alliances. So within his party, within his inner circle, we're going to see a lot of people connecting with each other in order to save themselves. And I do believe the Republican Party's already decided we got to get rid of this guy. So you're going to see a lot of new alliances in the right that is going to exclude Donald Trump. And this is that loss, that sense of being left out, of being out in the cold. That's why he's going to be feeling this way. There is a sense of victory here for democracy, both in the United States and in the world, particularly around Ukraine. We may be getting positive news about that conflict in the month of January. So you have the Trump thing, but then on the world stage, I feel like there is something coming up with Ukraine. I don't know if they mean Putin or if something's going to happen there, but there is some victory for democracy, and not just in our nation, but with the world as a whole. So there is some news coming up. Watch Ukraine. Now, I'm not a medium, but I felt strongly that I was connecting with Sandra Day O'Connor, who has recently passed. She was trying to give a message. And what I wrote down was, you may receive many messages in January that may cause anxiety, but it is important to use your intuition during these times. What do you feel? Not what do you hear? Read between the lines. There may be some news coming out of the Supreme Court in January. That's the sense. So maybe this has to do with that dark money or the transactions. Maybe they're making some sort of ruling on something that's coming out that is victory for us. Or it could be some dark money situation that's related to the Supreme Court. I wasn't quite sure which one it was, but she seemed, it's interesting, she came through. I felt very strongly this had something to do with the Supreme Court, and she's reminding us to read between the lines. Try not to believe everything that you hear. Use your intuition. So we'll see what's happening there. The final message that I have for January from my guides, and I believe Archangel Metatron. This is a month of spreading seeds. Connect with your loved ones, your community. Toss those seeds of love and compassion into the icy cold ground of January. They will rise in spring, and love will bloom. Each season turns, and all winters melt away. Have faith in these cycles. As you are children of the earth, it is time to heal. It's interesting that they're talking about cycles, because I got that for Donald Trump too, that he's given an opportunity to break cycles and patterns. But in this case, there's something coming up in the spring that seems really positive, because I feel like it's like spread those seeds of love, keep doing the spiritual work, work with your families, your loved ones, your community, this spiritual community, because in spring, those seeds will bloom. And I do feel like that's a metaphor for good things coming up in the spring. So yeah, that's my message for January 2024. In summary, very bad behavior from Trump, lots of anxiety, some news about dark money transactions. It's either about the Supreme Court or it's a Supreme Court will have to make a ruling on these things. And victory for democracy, especially something coming up with the Ukraine, which is very, very positive. Again, spread the seeds of love. Don't jump at every negative thing you hear. Use your intuition and feel your way through this month. And that's my message, January 2024. Thank you so much. It's great reading for you again. I will be back in a couple days to work on February 2024. In the meantime, if you want to try a private reading with me, please go to my website, tarotsoulwriter.com. Please go to my email down below. Contact me about a 2020 interview. I would love to hear your story. And as always, it is a pleasure reading for you. Bye-bye now.